Hey, what's up, everybody? Video 44 coming at you with another video. All right, so the Jimmy trade is done. Jimmy Butler is a Golden State Warrior. He got traded for Andrew Wiggins, Dennis Schroeder, Kyle Anderson, and a protected first-round pick, according to Shams Charania. What do I think of this deal? I think that Steph Curry has a running mate that's aligned with his timeline. Which is something that the Golden State Warriors were desperately trying to make happen. From what I understand, Jimmy had been trying to keep himself from going to the Warriors. He tried to shake off a couple of trades for the Warriors, but ultimately they pulled it off anyway. I think Golden State's intention here is to just put themselves in a position to have Jimmy Butler in place for a couple years, and then, assuming he's going to opt in, he's going to be there next year, and then after that, probably trade him at the deadline next year, because he's likely not to re-sign. If the reports are true of him trying to stop these trades from happening. They get off of a few people. Try to take a look at this. Jimmy Butler is making $48 million this year, $52 next year with a player option he's most definitely going to opt into. And let's see. Let me look at the Golden State Warriors and see what's going on with their situation. Andrew Wiggins is on a $26 million this year, plus 2 more years that equal out to $58 million. So they shave off that. They get some free agent money at the end of next season if Jimmy leaves, and they come off that Wiggins contract that's going to Miami. Dennis Schroeder was expiring at 13, so Miami has that coming off the books. They can renegotiate with him or let him walk. And, of course, they also get the protected first rounder. And I think there was something else in that deal. Did we not say there was something else in that deal? Let me check and see what we're looking at here. Andrew Wiggins, Dennis Schroeder, and Kyle Anderson. Let me take a look at Kyle Anderson's situation. He's on a $8 million contract and has 2 more years on it. So, yeah, that's what's going on, man. That is exactly what's happening there. I like the move for the Warriors because it allows for them to have somebody in place play with Steph Curry for the next 2 years, and they can figure themselves out that way. Defensively, I think they're going to miss not having Andrew Wiggins. Dennis Schroeder, they just got 5 minutes ago, him going to Miami. I'm not really sure what that looks like to me, but that does give them another ball handler with Tyler Hero and Terry Rozier. Wiggins is a nice defensive player they can add next to these guys in Miami. So just as I look at the roster, Jovic is stepping forward. He's starting to really become a guy out there. Khalil Ware is looking like a Rookie of the Year candidate right now. Tyler Hero, obviously an all-star, as I predicted. Bam Adebayo. Did he make the all-star team? If he didn't, he's usually there. So this allows for them to kind of just move on from Jimmy Butler, bring in 3 pieces, a couple of them expiring. Dennis expiring, of course. And Anderson, as we mentioned, is on a 2-year deal. See, that's the thing. That Kyle Anderson contract, it's only $8 million a year, but he's on for extra 2 years. I don't really look at that as a big-time asset for the Miami Heat in this situation. I really don't. Wiggins, Anderson, Schroeder are 3 good players that can help Miami win. But from a contract perspective, I don't want any of them contracts. If I'm Miami, I really don't want any of them contracts. I probably would have did better keeping Butler and just allowing him to be an expiring contract that I trade next year at the deadline. But see, Jimmy wasn't having it. He was going to give him hell, probably try to sit a lot of games and all this and that. They just need to get something for him in their mind. I think the return on value is okay, depending on how you value Anderson. Schroeder coming off the books could be a positive thing. The protected first, we got to know what that first looks like. I really don't know. But I don't think you could have got too much for Jimmy right now as far as first round picks, stuff like that. The value of Jimmy is lower because of the fact that he's been acting up lately. In my opinion, I think that's what ultimately affects the price tag. So given that being the case, they got a good return, a win now return. But I'd be lying if I said I was overly excited about what's going back to Miami there. I personally would not like that return if I'm a Miami Heat. That doesn't mean that it's not a value, solid return. It's just not. I don't care for those trio of players if I'm gonna be losing Jimmy Butler. It's gonna slot some other people into some more serious roles, which I think could be a good thing. But that's my attitude. Golden State wins here. Golden State gets the best player. Golden State gets a very valuable expiring contract next year, in my opinion, in Jimmy Butler. Um, he's going to opt in, but you don't mind that because he's right next to Draymond and Steph. I like the idea of Jimmy Butler next to Draymond Green and the fire that they pour into the situation. The experience of being in the finals multiple years, Jimmy coming in there, that looks interesting to me. He's gonna fit right in my opinion. I don't know why he didn't want to go there, but I'm sure now that he's there, he ain't gonna be upset to be there in the short term. They're not that great of a team, but they're much better with him. This allows for the young fellas that they have to take on bigger roles, and I see opportunities for roster spots given that they got rid of 3 and brought in 1. So that's interesting as well when you consider what the Golden State Warriors could potentially be doing next. They do have 2 roster spots open, unless there's something I'm not seeing. So yeah, that's I like this for Golden State. Even though Jimmy may not be necessarily thrilled about being a Golden State Warrior, if the reports are true about him trying to keep the trade from happening, I don't care. I literally don't care. The Golden State Warriors situation is win now. They needed a high-level talent like Jimmy to help add some wins to their situation. And although I like Wiggins and I think they're going to miss Wiggins, Kyle Anderson they just picked up in the offseason. That wasn't the greatest signing, in my opinion. He's solid, but I'm not, like I said, I'm not overly excited about him in Warrior land. And Dennis Schroeder was a player that they picked up, trading away a injured player to the Brooklyn Nets. They brought him in as an expiring contract of $12 million, which is pretty damn valuable. But somebody didn't necessarily fit with their team and what they got going on right now. So shooting him off to Miami and getting back Jimmy Butler as a part of the deal is probably the best path forward for them in regards to that contract. That's the best possible way to handle something like that. So I haven't been a fan of what I've seen from Mike Dunleavy too often, but I do think that this was a win for him. I think that. It depends on how much you think of Wiggins and what he means to their defense and their offense. Wiggins is a player that always hurts my Lakers when we see him, so I have a lot of respect for his game. Since becoming a Golden State Warrior, it's grown substantially, but he also has nights where he doesn't show up, and that kind of thing is a bit frustrating for Warriors fans. So I don't know if they're gonna miss having him that much when you consider they're bringing in Jimmy Butler. And this allowing for the Podziemskis and the Moody's to have bigger roles because they're moving out guards and bringing back only one player who likely going to play multiple positions. So I like this for Moody. I like this for Podziemski. I think this could potentially make it so that Kuminga's role is a bit better, sending out Kyle Anderson out potentially. So I like this all the way around for the Golden State Warriors. Sometimes addition is subtraction. When you get rid of certain stuff, it allows for other guys to step up, and that's really what the Golden State Warriors have ultimately needed. They need those young players to have bigger roles, and now they have an opportunity to let that be the case. So I like this for Golden State. We got to see if they keep making moves. Gary Payton is somebody that's been rumored to be on the move potentially. I heard Kevon Looney's expiring contract could potentially be on the move. He has an $8 million contract. Gary's $9 million as well expiring. So they may want to move those expiring contracts. I hear the Lakers may be interested. I didn't know they were expiring contracts when we were commenting on them in a previous video. Them being expiring is interesting to me for a lot of teams. Let's see. They also got Lindsey Water on a $2 million expiring contract. He's undoubtedly going to want more money going forward, even though he's had a not so prominent role with the Warriors. I think Lindsey Waters is a nice young player that's ready to step up and be a floor spacer for a lot of teams. So it's clear to me that they're going to need to either re-sign him, or it might be wise for them to just move him, even though he's only at $2 million. He's definitely going to get more than that one way or another. Santos probably the same thing, but he's on an extra year. Santos is dirt cheap, by the way. $1 million, basically a $2 million this year, 1.8, and $2 million team option next year, for which I can see them exercising that team option in the short time that he's played this season. He's been really stellar. I really like Santos there. So this just gives them an opportunity to play these people a little more. They got Buddy Yield on an $8 million for 3 years, 8 mil plus 3 years. I'm not a Buddy fan. I'd probably move him at some point. Maybe not tomorrow, but some point in the next year or so. I'm probably moving Buddy. I don't need him there. I really don't. Golden State Warriors don't need him like that. That's Moody right there. Moody should be the guy they play there. Podziemski as well. I'd rather use those people. I can see them, Golden State Warriors, maybe using one of those roster spots to move Quentin Post into a regular roster spot because they got him on a two-way, and he is ready, in my opinion, to be their stretch five. So I could totally see them doing something like that. Makes sense to me. So I don't know if they'll do that or not, but that's what I would do if I were them. So yeah, this just gives their young guys more opportunities, in my opinion, and brings in Jimmy Butler, who raises their ceiling substantially, in my opinion. He's a significant upgrade from Andrew Wiggins on the offensive end. Defensively, I'm not sure if Jimmy's still the old player he used to be, but he's still crafty defensively, and he'll make up for it in the playoffs when he overall raises his play about as well as any starter's ever played, really. Playoff Jimmy, that's a no-brainer. So yeah, I like that next to Steph Curry. I don't know if they can make the playoffs, but they're going to be a dangerous play-in tournament team if they can climb into it. I don't know if that is realistic based on where they're at right now. I have to check, see where they are. But this is the Golden State Warriors eccentric video, it seems, even though there's the Miami Heat are also involved. But I just think Golden State's a little more interesting. And of course, the Golden State Warriors are the team my Lakers play. I got to do some homework on them. I'd imagine that Jimmy will not play tomorrow, but that's who we see next. It's going to be good to see that they're going to be undermanned just like us because of this trade. That really makes me feel good. So yeah, I'm trying to see where the Warriors are at in the standings, and I'm failing to do that. But all in all, for the Warriors specifically, I like this deal. I think this deal makes them significantly better. I think it slots them in a position to allow their young players to play a bit more, and overall just gives them a expiring contract to shop next trade deadline, which I think could be fairly valuable with how much comes off the books at once. $54 million. There may be a team that will want that contract. I could see several teams being interested in that contract, maybe willing to move on from some stuff on multi-year deals. Or the Golden State Warriors can just re-sign him at a significantly lesser price after playing the season out next year. But I wouldn't toy with Jimmy like that. Not after what I just saw. Not at this age. I would trade him next year. This time around next year, I would definitely move him as an expiring contract. I would not want to negotiate with him. It will depend on how this year goes. But as far as Golden State, yeah, they're in the 10th spot right now, 25-24. And I think this makes them better, man. I think this makes them better. Obviously, you got Dallas on their backside at 26-25. Dallas is inevitably going to move up. And so that goes without saying. And Phoenix, we'll see if Phoenix moves KD. That's still a thing. From what I understand, KD moved all the Phoenix stuff from his bio. So KD trade might be happening within the next couple hours or something like that. Who knows where he's going. Sacramento made a move for Valanciunas. They sent City Sissoko, who they just got from San Antonio, and some draft compensation to Washington and brought back Valanciunas. I don't know. I haven't given that any thought, but that's just me telling you what happened there. And, of course, Minnesota's in the 7th spot at 27-23. I don't know that they're falling, not with Anthony Edwards being healthy. But I know Julius Randle's out for a couple of weeks. We'll see how that affects things. So, yeah, man, it is what it is. The Clippers are playing terrible ball above that in the Western Conference. We just beat the hell out of them. The Lakers did, without Luka Doncic. And, of course, my Lakers are in 5th place, and I think we are playing great ball. And probably will continue to with this great player coming in our situation. So Golden State has a tall task, man. They got a tall task to try to climb, keep their playing tournament status, especially with Dallas and San Antonio now picking up De'Aaron Fox behind Dallas. I think that's a team that could potentially go on a late run, but they're 3 games behind Dallas. It's going to be a little tough there. That's going to be a little tough for San Antonio, even though they got De'Aaron Fox. So we'll see if they go on some type of massive streak. They should be very difficult to beat, but I just think that the way things are going, it could be a little tough for the San Antonio Spurs to climb into the play-in tournament, even with their circumstance as it is. So who falls out? I don't know. It's very competitive. You consider the teams that are in the 10th, 11th, and 12th spot just made trades to make themselves significantly better and to win now. Golden State getting Jimmy. Obviously, Dallas believes they made moves that got them in that space with Anthony Davis. I know AD can definitely get them there. They should be good. And San Antonio picking up De'Aaron Fox makes them very hard to beat. So who falls out is the question. Who falls out? So the Western Conference, you could potentially find yourself seeing a team that's really good in the lottery because of how this is set up. One of the Lakers, Clippers, Minnesota, Sac, Phoenix, Golden State, Dallas, San Antonio are going to be in the lottery. Now, of course, some of these people don't have their own picks. In fact, the Lakers and Clippers definitely don't. But the point is, whoever does harbor their picks could potentially, and once you're in the lottery, who knows what could happen. We saw Atlanta was in the play-in tournament, win the lottery last year. So it could get real. It can get some spooky around here for a couple of these teams that are vying for play-in tournament status. And given the fact there's only like 5 games separating 11 and 5, 6 games separating 11, 7 games separating 11 and 3 in the Western Conference. So it's going to be a dog fight all the way through the end. And if somebody has the wrong injury, they could slip from 3 to 10 in a matter of 2 weeks. So this is going to get crazy in the West as I'm looking at it. So, yeah, man. And as far as Miami's in the 7th spot. I think, I don't know if they take steps back or not. They're 24-24, but they're in the easy East. So you can be 500 and still be in the 7th seed. This is 22-29, Chicago in the 10th seed. Like that just speaks to where the East is, man. And Jimmy left the East. So it's like it's not getting any better out there, to be honest. But Miami's in the play-in tournament right now. They haven't had Jimmy in a couple weeks. How have they been doing? It's the question. Won 3 of their last 5. They're going to be in the mix, but I just don't take them very seriously in the Eastern Conference. There's only about 3 teams that you really do. The Knicks, Cavs, and the Celtics are the only teams that I expect to see potentially coming out of the East. I don't expect anybody else to really do anything, but now that Miami's out of the Jimmy Butler business, I think that this just ushers them into a brand new situation. They're actually playing right now. It's almost halftime for their game, 62-55. They're up on Philly. Bigger role for Highsmith, bigger role for Hero. Well, Hero already has a huge role, but you get the point. Jaime Jaquez gets a bigger role now, of course. Jovic, as I said, he's been playing great ball. He ain't missed a shot tonight. So, these are the type of things in Miami's, they're ushering into a new role for themselves. Jaime, Jovic, Ware, obviously led by Adebayo and Hero. That's what time it is for them. That's exactly what it is. They bring in Andrew Wiggins. I think he slips into a spot, maybe takes Howard Highsmith or Duncan Robinson's spot in the starting lineup. Kyle Anderson's a nice, crafty guy. They add some depth to their situation. That's what it is. The depth comes in. Schroeder comes in, kind of takes some shooting guard minutes as well, but not from Tyler Hero. But, Terry Rozier, I could see them making another move, to be honest with you. If I'm being real with you guys, I could totally see Miami maybe making another move. They could take 2 and turn it into 1. That wouldn't be the worst thing for a talent upgrade for them. Maybe move, and this is just me talking. I ain't heard no rumors of this, but maybe take Duncan Robinson and Terry Rozier and turn it into a player or something like that. That wouldn't be the worst idea for them, in my opinion. Now that you got Schroeder coming in, Anderson coming in, Hawkes and Jovic are really playing well. I'm not moving either one of them, of course. So you just want to I would want to empower Jovic and Hawkes to have bigger roles. Highsmith is somebody they really like. I've seen him play very well. I don't think they're falling off a cliff by any stretch of the imagination. Not looking at the roster and then looking at the people they're bringing in. These are not world beater guys, but these are high level potential starters and bench players with Schroeder, Anderson, and Wiggins coming in. Schroeder I know how good he is. 2 stints with my Lakers, we know him well. He just needs to find a place where he can settle in, either as a bench guy or a starter. He can play the 1 to 2. He can do a lot of things. Defend, get to the line repeatedly, put a lot of pressure on the rim, even though he's not a leaper. He's driving consistently. He can shoot the three a little bit. I like DS. Very good role player. Anderson, slow-mo, you know what type of thing he does. A lot of people are aware of his game. And, of course, Wiggins defensively is a monster and is pretty streaky offensively. And the athleticism is still in place. He's a different type of guy when it comes to that. So I like their wing situation a little better right now. Jimmy was getting older. Wiggins can kind of replace him, be a poor man's Jimmy in some ways. So, Miami will stay afloat. They'll stay afloat, but I do think that they would benefit greatly for making another trade. I do think they would benefit greatly for getting a higher level talented piece in place to just boost their overall situation. I think they should shop somebody. I really do. So, yeah, that's my point of view, man. Just taking a look at this, man. It's a pretty big deal. Jimmy's in Golden State now. I don't know how he feels about that, but the Warriors also play tonight. They actually play the Jazz tonight. So they'll be coming off a back-to-back against my Lakers. That's good news for us. But, yeah, man, that's really what it is. I got homework to do on the Warriors since we play them tomorrow. But, it's one of those situations where I definitely want to come here and report on the trades. And, of course, tomorrow's a trade deadline, 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern. So we'll definitely have our eyes open for everything that's to come with that. And I'm glad I didn't hang up here because there is a talk on this thing that Jimmy has already signed an extension. So all the talks about him not wanting to be in Golden State, I'm telling you, Jimmy Butler has agreed to a 2-year, $121 million extension with the Golden State Warriors, 26-27. He's declining his player option to sign this extension. So, wow, I didn't see that coming, but I'm glad I'm able to tell you that while we're here right now. Jimmy getting that 2-year, 121. And so that just extends, he's an older guy. So for him, this means a lot because it keeps him on a timeline with a team that ultimately allows for him to make $60 million. Yeah, that's $60 million. He's going to be very pleased with that. Because that's really what this is all about. He wanted that money. He wanted that money. That's it. Oh, wow. Congratulations to P.J. Washington. His child was born yesterday. And Luka Doncic said, congrats, hold on to that baby before they trade him. Now, that's crazy. Luka the Don, man. Welcome to L.A. But anyway, man, the 121 for Jimmy for 2 years is all he really wanted. Just a bump in pay so he didn't have to opt in and expect to be traded next year. That changes everything we talked about already in this video. Obviously, he will not be traded next year at the trade deadline because it won't be expiring. He got his money, man. He got his money. He lands with Steph Curry. They're going to be running around for 2 years trying to get the most out of one another. Try to bring the Golden State Warriors back up to championship glory. Fight, make the Western Conference even more difficult than it's already been. Jimmy returns to the Western Conference after being away. He was with the Timberwolves for a second in the West, but most of the time his career has been spent in the East with Chicago and Philly and, of course, Miami. So he's going to have to deal with the Western Conference, man. It ain't getting no easier out here for all of us. But, yeah, that's going to be fun seeing Jimmy Butler and Draymond Green terrorizing people. That's going to be fun. I can tell you that much. So all is well that ends well. Jimmy gets his extension. I think it makes sense for the Golden State Warriors to extend him because at the end of the day, you got Steph Curry to consider, man. You got Steph Curry and Draymond to consider. You can pay these dudes massive amounts of money. You don't want Steph Curry to go any damn where. And you were kind of running around some pieces that didn't really make any sense. You had some talent down there that was good but not great. You needed a star down there to run with Steph. You needed that. And I think this solidifies that. The timeline makes about as much sense as any team in the league because ultimately your core is older. So I think that's what you need to say. They did get a little older, but like I said, they're slotting newer players into better roles because of this trade just the same. So I think this makes a lot of sense. Jimmy is going to fit in with Golden State, I think, pretty nicely. And all as well as that ends well, man. That's what I see there. This is going to be a tough Western Conference going forward, but it's already been a tough Western Conference. So what else is new? So yeah, man, that's what it is, man. That's pretty much what I gotta say, man. Jimmy Butler, congratulations on getting your money. Miami, I think you get some nice role players. Nothing too crazy, but you get a good return for a disruptive Jimmy, so to speak. And we will see the Warriors tomorrow. As a Laker fan, we'll talk about it. So that's pretty much what I gotta say, man. My name is BDL44. I thank you all for watching. I'm out.